You've spent decades making better choices. You skip fast food, stay active, and fill your plate with vegetables. But what if the foods you trust the most are the very ones quietly harming your heart? It doesn't make sense at first. You're doing what doctors recommend, yet your blood pressure is creeping up, your cholesterol stays high, and your energy just isn't what it used to be. You start wondering, is it age? Or is something else going on? Here's the truth. Some so-called healthy foods, especially vegetables processed a certain way, can slowly wear down your heart without you even knowing, and no one warned you. That's what this video is here to do, to uncover the hidden traps in your diet and show you simple, caring swaps your heart will thank you for. If you've ever felt confused or frustrated because you tried to do everything right, this message is for you. Stay with me, and together, we'll give your heart the clarity and support it's quietly asking for. Number 1. Can de tomatos. Tomato sauce. Tomatoes are supposed to be good for you. That's what we've always been told. They're bright, juicy, packed with antioxidants. But there's a hidden truth many don't see coming, especially after 60. The trouble starts when those tomatoes come from a can or a jar. Canned tomatoes and tomato sauces often carry more sodium than a bag of chips. A single serving can sneak in 400 to 600 milligrams, and most of us eat 2 or 3 servings without blinking. That adds up fast. And it doesn't stop with salt. These sauces are often laced with preservatives like calcium chloride and citric acid. They help the product look fresh. But inside your body, they quietly stiffen your arteries and inflame your heart. I remember a patient in his early 70s. He was sharp, active, walked every day, and swore by his homemade tomato soup. He used canned tomatoes because they were quick and easy. He thought he was doing everything right. But one night, he came into the ER struggling to breathe. It wasn't a heart attack. It was heart failure caused by chronic high blood pressure he didn't even know he had. We traced his diet, and every day, he was taking in almost double his daily sodium limit from just one ingredient. He never touched chips or bacon. He didn't eat fast food. But his canned tomato habit had quietly overloaded his system for years. His arteries, once flexible and smooth, had hardened. His heart was working overtime every day just to push blood through. That strain built up until his heart could no longer keep up. That's how sodium works. It pulls extra water into your bloodstream, increasing blood volume. Your heart has to pump harder with every beat. Over time, this pressure wears down the heart muscle. You may not feel it at first. There's no sharp pain, just fatigue, shortness of breath, a little swelling in your ankles. Signs we often chalk up to aging, but deep down, your heart is fighting to keep up. And here's the hardest part. You're not doing anything wrong. You're choosing vegetables, staying away from junk food, but processed vegetable products can be just as dangerous, especially when they're packed with salt and chemicals our bodies can't handle the same way they once could. The good news is, you don't have to give up tomatoes. Not even close. You just need to change the form they come in. Swap canned versions for fresh or frozen tomatoes. Make your own sauce with garlic, onion, basil, and a light touch of olive oil. Use lemon juice instead of salt to bring out flavor. These small choices matter. They give your heart the break it's been waiting for. Don't let the label fool you. Just because it says tomato doesn't mean it's good for you. Read the ingredients. Look for sodium content. If it's shelf stable for a year, ask what's keeping it that way. Your heart deserves food that's alive, food that works with your body, not against it. One of the simplest things you can do starting today is check your pantry. Look at the labels on your sauces and canned goods. Notice the sodium, the additives, the shelf life. Then ask yourself if that's what your heart needs right now. Not in theory, not in a perfect world, but today, in the real world, at your age, with your goals. We can't change the past, but every meal ahead is a new chance to support your heart, to help it breathe easier, to help it beat stronger. Even a single switch from canned to fresh can make a difference over time. You've done a lot in your life. You've made sacrifices. You've worked hard. You've cared for others. Now it's time to care for the organ that's been with you through it all, the one that beats for you every moment of every day. Let's make sure it has what it needs to keep going strong. Starting with the truth about tomatoes. Number 2, pickles and fermented vegetables. They sit quietly in the corner of your plate. A crunchy pickle with your sandwich. A scoop of sauerkraut on the side. They feel familiar, even comforting. And they're vegetables, right? They must be good for you. That's what most people think, especially those who grew up with home canning traditions or turned to fermented foods for digestive health. And while it's true that natural fermentation can support your gut, the truth about store-bought or home-brined pickles is often less comforting. What's really hiding inside that tangy crunch is a heavy load of sodium. One dill pickle can carry over 800 milligrams. That's more than half your recommended daily limit in a single bite, and sauerkraut. Just half a cup can sneak in 700 milligrams or more, depending on how it's made. It builds up fast. And it doesn't stop when the jar is empty. That salt stays in your system, quietly forcing your heart to work harder every single day. I think about a woman I treated not long ago. She was 68, full of energy, and loved growing her own vegetables. She proudly made her own pickled carrots, beans, cucumbers, everything. She didn't smoke. She didn't drink. She walked 2 miles every morning, but her blood pressure kept climbing. Nothing seemed to help. It wasn't until we looked closely at her diet that the answer became clear. Every single day, she was eating multiple servings of salty pickled vegetables. She thought it was a healthy tradition, but the amount of sodium she was taking in was enough to strain her arteries and drive her pressure dangerously high. Her heart, already aging, had to fight against the added fluid and tension. She didn't feel it at first, but over time, her energy dropped, her ankles swelled, her chest felt tight when climbing stairs. That's how sodium works. It draws water into the bloodstream. Increasing the volume of blood, your heart must push through stiffening vessels. It inflames the walls of your arteries and gradually turns flexible tissue into hardened pipes. That's what makes high blood pressure so dangerous. It doesn't announce itself. It builds slowly, quietly, until something breaks. What makes this more complicated is the health halo surrounding fermented foods. You hear they're good for digestion, and that can be true. But most commercial or homemade versions rely on salt-heavy brines. The gut benefit comes at the cost of your heart if you're not careful, and after 60, your body doesn't handle that overload the same way it once did. This isn't about blaming old habits. It's about bringing new awareness to choices that might have been fine 20 years ago, but are now costing your heart more than you know. The good news is you don't have to give up that zesty flavor you love. You just need a smarter swap. Instead of traditional pickling, try quick vinegar pickles. Use apple cider vinegar, garlic, dill, and maybe a pinch of honey or pepper flakes. Let it sit in the fridge for a few hours and enjoy. No heavy salt, no long soak, just bright flavor and peace of mind. You can also add lemon juice or herbs to fresh vegetables to get that tangy bite without the hidden strain. The goal isn't to erase your favorite foods. It's to update the way they show up in your life so they match your heart's needs. Now, you've come too far to let something so small put your health at risk. Your wisdom deserves better. Next time you open the fridge and reach for that pickle jar, just pause. Ask yourself how often it's been part of your plate lately. Look at your labels. Check the sodium. And know that even a simple change, one jar for another, one recipe revised, can ease the burden on your heart. You've already made so many smart decisions in your life. This is just one more, not out of fear, but out of respect for the years you still have ahead and the heart that's worked so hard to get you here. Let this be a new chapter in how you care for yourself. One where flavor and health work together. One where tradition meets wisdom. And one where your heart gets the chance to breathe a little easier every single day. Number 3, fried eggplant. Eggplant has a reputation as a heart-friendly vegetable. It's soft, low in calories, and full of fiber. For many older adults trying to cut back on meat, it seems like a great substitute, but how it's cooked can quietly turn it into something very different. Eggplant is like a sponge. When you fry it, especially in processed oils, it soaks up fat like a dry towel dropped into a puddle. What starts as a healthy slice of vegetable becomes a greasy, calorie-dense trap. And the oils used in frying often contain trans fats and saturated fats, which are among the worst offenders when it comes to heart health. I once worked with a woman in her late 60s. She didn't eat red meat, avoided desserts, and swore by her mostly vegetarian diet. She loved eggplant, especially fried slices, and made eggplant parmesan at least twice a week. She believed it was her healthy comfort food, but her cholesterol levels were sky high. Her LDL, the bad cholesterol, had steadily climbed over the years, and when we reviewed her meals, it all became clear. Her arteries were thickening. Her blood vessels had lost their natural elasticity. The fats from her fried meals had been building up inside her body one meal at a time. And like many people her age, and she had no symptoms until her heart started showing signs of strain. Trans fats and saturated fats do more than raise cholesterol. They also trigger inflammation inside your arteries. This makes the blood vessels more likely to collect plaque, narrowing the passageway and forcing your heart to push harder just to keep blood moving. Over time, that added pressure wears your heart down. This isn't about fear. It's about recognition. The foods we assume are safe sometimes aren't. And the small habits we think are helping can quietly set us back. But the beauty of eggplant is that it's incredibly versatile. You don't have to give it up. You just need to treat it differently. Instead of frying it, try roasting it with a touch of olive oil, or grilling it until it's golden and soft. You still get the comforting flavor and texture, but without the burden of hidden fats. A simple oven-baked eggplant dish with herbs, garlic, and lemon can feel just as rich and satisfying. Add some crushed nuts or whole grains for texture, and your heart will thank you for the change. It's not about sacrificing taste. It's about elevating your health without letting go of what you love. Next time you're at the stove, think about your heart. Picture the work it does every day to keep you strong. and ask whether that meal is helping or hindering its job. With eggplant, the choice is yours. A small shift in cooking method can make a big difference in how your body responds. Many people feel frustrated when they learn this. They wonder why no one told them sooner. But it's not too late. Your heart doesn't need you to be perfect. It just needs a little less oil, a little more care, and a few wiser choices. You've done so much already. You've built a life full of memories, milestones, and lessons. Let this be one more, the story of how one vegetable, cooked the right way, became part of your healing instead of part of the problem. This is your moment to turn comfort food into real nourishment, to give your body what it truly needs, and to know that with each mindful choice, you're not just feeding your hunger, you're protecting your future, one bite at a time. Number 4, frozen veggie mix with sauce. At first glance, frozen vegetables seem like the smart choice. They're quick, affordable, and better than fast food. But when those vegetables come coated in creamy sauces, what seems healthy can quietly work against your heart. I met a man in his mid-60s who took pride in eating clean. He avoided burgers and fries, and filled his freezer with veggie mixes. Broccoli in cheese sauce, carrots in butter glaze, cauliflower with creamy blends. He told me these were his go-to meals. Easy, tasty. He thought he was doing everything right. But his blood pressure told a different story. So did his cholesterol and heart scans. He was confused. He ate vegetables every day. So how could his heart be struggling? The answer was in the sauces. Those creamy, buttery toppings are loaded with sodium, saturated fat, and chemicals. A single serving often has more than 0 milligrams of sodium, and the fats used. They don't nourish. They inflame. They sneak into your bloodstream and quietly raise your LDL cholesterol. They stiffen your arteries, raise your blood pressure, and leave your heart pushing harder and harder just to do its job. What's worse, many of these meals feel light. You microwave them and think you're skipping the heavy stuff. But inside your body, those processed oils and salty blends create stress. Your heart has to manage all day long. The damage isn't loud. It builds quietly until one day, you're sitting in a doctor's office wondering where it all went wrong. Here's the thing. You're not alone. This is a mistake many smart, careful people make. You're trying to make better choices. But these frozen meals hide behind a health halo. They're vegetables? Yes. But they're dressed up in a way that turns them into something else entirely. The good news is you can fix this without giving up the convenience. Plain frozen vegetables are a great option. They're picked at peak ripeness and flash frozen to keep nutrients intact. What makes the difference is what you add or don't add once they're out of the bag. Instead of grabbing a creamy bag mix, reach for plain broccoli or green beans. Steam them or lightly sauté with olive oil and garlic. Add fresh herbs like parsley or dill. A squeeze of lemon can bring brightness. A sprinkle of pepper or turmeric can add depth. No preservatives. No extra salt. Just real food. Working with your body, not against it. You don't need a chef's kitchen. Just a few basic tools and a mindset shift. You're not looking for flashy. You're looking for fuel that supports your heart and gives you energy to live fully. These small swaps add up. Next time you shop, turn the bag over. Read the sodium. Look at the ingredient list. If it reads like a science project, put it back. Your heart isn't looking for shortcuts. It's asking for support. It wants space to heal and strength to keep going. You've earned that kind of care after everything your body has carried. Now is the time to give it the respect it deserves. That doesn't mean giving up flavor or convenience. It means getting a little closer to the real thing, a little more honest, a little more simple. And it's not too late. Every better choice you make sends a signal to your heart. I'm listening now. I've got your back. Let's move forward with love, not just habit. Your freezer can still be your friend. Just choose what goes into it with your heart in mind. It's not about being perfect. It's about being intentional. And with each intentional step, you're protecting not just your body, but your future. This is your chance to rewrite the rules. Not with fear, but with clarity. Your heart doesn't need a revolution. It needs a little relief, a little honesty, and a little less sauce. Have you ever wondered why so many older adults still end up with heart problems? Even though they eat vegetables every day, why does doing what we've always believed was right still lead to problems we never saw coming? The truth is not your fault. Over the years, food companies have quietly transformed how we eat. They've taken something as simple as a tomato or a green bean and loaded it with salt, fat, preservatives, and chemicals. Then they packaged it with labels like heart healthy or made with real vegetables. They sold us convenience. But often, they traded our trust for profits. And you tried. You made thoughtful choices. You cared about your health. That effort matters. It always has. You deserve credit for showing up for your body again and again, even when no one gave you the full picture. But now, you see it. You feel the shift. This is not a moment to feel shame. It's a moment of clarity. A time to take your power back. You've earned the right to know what's true and to use that truth to protect yourself moving forward. You are not behind. You are wise. And the more clearly you see now, the more strength you gain. Let this be the turning point where confusion becomes confidence and where you no longer doubt yourself. You know more now. That's a gift. Use it well. Not all vegetables are as harmless as they seem. When processed, canned, fried, or covered in sauce, they can quietly work against your heart instead of helping it. But the good news is this: it is never too late to change. Your heart is strong. It has carried you through a lifetime, and even now, it has the power to grow stronger, one choice at a time. You can ease its burden and give it the support it's been quietly asking for. You deserve to feel well, to feel proud, and to feel in control. Let every step forward be a message of love to the body that's carried you this far. Have you ever eaten one of these foods thinking it was the healthy choice? You're not alone. I'd love to hear your story in the comments. Let's learn from each other and support one another. If this message spoke to you, share it with someone you care about. And don't forget to subscribe so we can keep walking this journey of health and strength together.